I didn't do anything and would never do anything to my mother like that. Never in a million years would I ever think to do that.
You're putting on a pretty good show.
A show?
Yeah, you're putting on a really good show.
A show?
Yeah.
How's this a show?
This is 17-year-old Carlos Hallowell, who's accused of killing his own mother, Denise Hallowell. From an initial look, it seemed as if it were a grim yet straightforward case. However, the detectives had no idea just how manipulative and stubborn Carlos would be, especially after hearing his innocent, helpless voice in the 911 call.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
I need someone fast. I need EMTs. I need people.
Okay. All right, stay on the phone with me and take a deep breath and calm down so we can get this information, okay?
I can't.
Do you think she's beyond any help?
I don't know.
When detectives arrived at the crime scene in Inverness, Florida, they discovered the deceased body of 57-year-old Denise Hallowell lying on the bed with an axe embedded in her head. But even after Carlos caused such a gruesome death of his own mother, his main focus was to try outsmarting the detectives.
So you're calling me a sociopath?
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah. This is what sociopaths do.
You can size me up all you want. I do have normal feelings. I loved my mom. Ask anybody in this county.
On July 19th, 2019, Denise Hallowell was found dead on her bed with an axe embedded in her head, and the body was discovered by her adopted son, 17-year-old Carlos Hallowell. Denise Hallowell was a special education teacher from Inverness, Florida. Being an adopted child herself, she decided to adopt two children, Carlos and Angel. Despite her best efforts, she had to let go of Angel due to his troubled nature. Despite Angel being the problem child, keeping Carlos with her turned out to be a mistake that would soon take a grave turn. As Carlos was the only person present at the crime scene, detectives brought him in for an interrogation. But when detectives started interrogating him, they were stunned by how far a teen would go to manipulate the truth.
Oh, man. What's going on, Carlos?
Hi.
Going all right, hanging in there, man?
Just trying to accept the fact.
Once again, my name is Detective Ramos, Lieutenant Ball. So, the reason we brought you out here, and we're just trying to talk to you, see if you could, help us out and let us know what all took place.
Okay, my mother and I came back from the funeral, and we had lunch together. We had pie together, and the last time I saw her was around 2:30, 3. We both went to our separate rooms to take our naps for the day, which is what we normally do. And then about a couple hours later, I don't remember the time, I hear barking from my side of the house, which is abnormal. Our dogs are supposed to be in that little fenced-in area. So I walk out to the front door. My mom's door is closed as always, but she does let the dogs out every now and then while she's taking a nap to just let them go to the bathroom. So the front door was wide open. I figured she might have forgotten to close it. And I looked outside. Our dog, the two green gates that you guys walk through, completely open. Every now and then my mom sometimes does that. She's getting older and she forgets things very easily now. She was. So went to go find the dogs, checked around the property looking for them. I couldn't find them, so I went to go wake my mom up to help me find them, and then I found her there.
What funeral did you go to?
We went to her friend's, Kathy, I forget her last name. It was in St. Petersburg. The whole family was there, close friend families. We weren't directly related to them.
Wasn't the funeral in the morning?
Yes, sir.
What time you guys got down to St. Pete?
Around 11, I think.
What time when you guys left for St. Pete?
I couldn't tell you. We just took off. After the funeral was over, we had brunch and then we left.
Where you guys have lunch at?
Also at the church. I forget the name of the church, but we had, all our family was there. We said hi to everybody.
So you got pie?
My mom and I stopped at her favorite place to stop to when she lived in St. Pete to get pie, and we brought him home with us. We both like to eat pie.
What kind of pie was that?
She had, I forget what she had, some fancy, I always eat apple pie, and that's kind of like my mom's and I tradition thing.
Because, just before we get any further into anything, we don't really know what we've got, okay?
Correct.
So,
I understand.
you know, anytime we talk to somebody, especially if we bring them down here, we read Miranda. Do you know what that is? Your rights.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
Probably seen it on TV. Doesn't mean you're in trouble. Doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It's what we do.
Right.
And especially two of us in here talking to you. You know, some people can get pretty uptight about it. You know, so
I
we
understand.
just want to make sure we read it, you understand it, and you know what your rights are. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Detectives started the conversation with Carlos to put him at ease, but little did they know that Carlos had already rehearsed his story well.
As soon as you got home, what happened from the funeral?
We ate pie. We both decided to take our naps. She went into her room, I went into mine, and I watched a couple of things on YouTube and fell asleep and got up again and texted people and fell back to sleep. Usually we stay in there for about 2 or 3 hours to give ourselves time, our own separate time throughout the day.
Did you talk to anybody at all on the phone?
No, I was texting my girlfriend, some friends about work. That was pretty much it.
Where you work at?
I applied to the Cove and I was texting some buddies who work there and see if I can get some recommendations and stuff.
Oh, okay. You were texting your girlfriend throughout the day, or after you were taking a nap, or?
It was after the funeral. I texted her mainly, and then before I went to sleep for the nap, and then after that I was out.
How long was the nap, more or less?
Definitely slept for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then from there I just kind of like fiddled on my phone playing games.
So you was already awake then when the dogs were barking?
No, that did wake me up. I fell back to sleep. I woke up after about a 2-hour nap, played on my phone and fell back to sleep. Because my mom wasn't up yet. Usually when I hear her being up, then I go outside, but I didn't hear her up, so I'll just let her have her space.
So when you guys normally take spaces, your naps, you guys don't talk to one another?
No, it's very common for us. We just like to have our own time throughout the day. Because we do bicker and argue when we spend too much time together. So we've learned how to cope with it and just give ourselves space and we get along fine.
Did you guys bicker, argue, anything today?
No, today was fine. Completely normal day. In fact, it was a really good day. We got pie, that was a special treat. So, that was good.
Although Carlos is claiming it to be a normal day, he in fact had an argument with Denise. Moreover, throughout the interrogation, Carlos is visibly restless and anxious. This could be because he's desperately trying to hide the truth, and in doing so is over-explaining himself.
So you walk out, you see Noelle. So, oh man, Noelle. So you get out your fence, you walk around to her, and you scoot her in. You get her inside the house, you close the door.
Right.
Then from there, in the little gated area, did you ever leave that area? Or you stayed right there in that little gated area and just called for them?
No, I left, went down the road because I usually can either find them at the gate or they'll be down to the neighbor's property, but I didn't feel like going all the way down there. So I was just be like, hey, Mom, you want to help me find the dogs? Because they don't go far.
So you went up to the front gate,
Correct.
called them, firecracker.
Yeah, and they didn't come back, so I walked back as well.
And what did you do then once you got back to the house?
I just walked inside and was going to get my mom up. Wanted to go help me find the dogs. And
So then what? You see her? What happened? What was your reaction? What was it that you was trying to...
Originally, I was shocked, but then I ran to her, shaked her a little bit, and then I could hear her breathing, and then I just started crying, yelling out, Mom, I'm getting help, called 911.
So when you come back in, was her door open or closed at that time?
Still closed.
It's still closed? So you open the door, see her. How did you call 911?
With my phone.
With your phone? So you saw her, shook her, right? That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Told her, hey, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I was like, I'm getting help. I could still hear her breathing, so I immediately called 911. And the lady instructed me to stay out of the house.
So that's when you went out the house?
Yeah.
You went out to the front door?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened?
and then I just waited for you guys to come, and she stayed on the phone with me. I was still also trying to find the dogs because I didn't want everybody being all over the place while this was going on.
So you're on the phone with a 911 operator?
Yes.
Out front in a little gated area?
Yes.
And then what she's telling you?
She was telling me give address, phone number, stuff like that, and then what was the emergency, blah blah blah, and then she said, I'm going to stay on the line with you, trying to keep me calm.
And
Deep
you
breaths.
just stayed right there, or did you?
I had to go up to the gate to open it for the deputies to get through.
So the gate was closed then?
Correct. I just walked up, closed, came back.
Up until now, what Carlos said is quite believable, but there is something that really doesn't fit with his story: the barking dogs. Detectives now start to investigate about dogs' whereabouts, and they are soon going to find a huge lead.
So when the dog got out, the gate was closed when the dogs got out?
Yeah, there's openings through there. They're small enough dogs, they just squeeze right through.
So then you went in, and that's when he came back and said, "Oh man, the gate's closed. I gotta go and open it." So you went over there and opened it for them.
Yes, because I remember from going up, it was closed, and I was trying to get them in as fast as possible.
Well, when did they show up? The dogs?
The dogs?
Yeah.
Halfway between you guys being there, they just came over from the neighbor's property. They got bored hanging out with those other dogs. And
Which side they came from? The right side, left side?
if you're facing the road, it's on the right side.
So if I'm coming out your house, I would have to make a right.
Yeah, it's Amy Alfred's. They have outside dogs that they go bark at. Amy Alfred. She's a very close family friend as well. She's grown up there with my mom for years.
That's the house where basically Dodge ends at?
Yes.
What about the people on the left-hand side? That kind of almost intersect into your property.
It was the property of Gene and Jim Livingston. They got too old, and now it's their sons, I think. I forget his name. But that used to also be the hangout place, because when they were both alive and there, they were kind of like grandparents, and then when they moved out, just kind of no one really went on that property.
Which house does Rick stay at then?
Rick is on the one, if you're looking at the road to the left.
So where the older couple was at, where the son is moving into now, or no?
No, the red gate where the deputies were right in front of, that's Rick's. The gate right before ours, I don't know if it's green or black, but that is the Livingstons, and then there's Amy Alfred's.
Carlos is weaving his story in detail, leaving no room for gaps. But this is a grave mistake. Any normal kid who lost his mother just a few hours ago should be too traumatized to serve such a detailed story.
What did you do after that when you saw her?
I shook her, like yelling, "Mom, mom, 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 wake up."
She was laying, so when you walk in the room, her back was towards you?
Yes.
And how did you shake her? Like
right on the side, like
on her ribs or something like that?
Yeah, where her arm was laying down like that, just, "Mommy, you awake," and I could see blood running down her nose, but I could hear her still breathing.
That was the only time you touched her?
Correct.
You didn't like run around the room a few thousand times?
No,
you just
no.
Ran in, shook her, I'll be back.
Yeah, as soon as I ran in and I heard her still breathing, I thought there could be a chance. I ran straight to my room, grabbed my phone, ran outside, called, and then she instructed me to stay outside. But I didn't do anything and would never do anything to my mother like that. As much as we used to bicker and get back at each other, fighting sometimes, and then peace, and then back and forth, and then peace again, never. Never in a million years would I ever think to do that. She's my mom. I was adopted at age 4, and I've been with her forever.
Yeah.
Would never do such a thing like that. And if you're insinuating that, I'm very offended by that.
You're putting on a pretty good show.
A show?
Yeah, you're putting on a really good show.
A show?
Yeah.
How's this a show?
And I remember that CPT talking about how your attitude of things were very sociopathic.
Sociopathic?
Which is exactly what you're showing me right now.
It's well known that a sociopath is a person with antisocial personality disorder, a mental health condition that involves a lack of empathy and has an innate desire to be in control. But Carlos losing his cool demeanor and being hyper as he is losing control of the narrative he tried to build, hinting at his sociopathic nature, However, it's rare for a detective to call out a suspect so directly, as it would prompt them to lawyer up and shut down the interrogation. So it can be assumed that the detective is intentionally pushing him to reveal his true colors, or has simply slipped up in the heat of the moment.
And you're trying to act like you're upset about something.
Trying?
Yeah.
Okay, how is this trying? That was my mom. My mother.
Right.
So trying, how is this trying?
Because you don't feel like normal people feel.
I don't feel like normal people feel.
Yeah. That's what a sociopath has the issues with.
Okay,
But
so you're calling me a sociopath?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. This is what sociopaths do.
Well, do what?
I've just been sizing you up the whole time. And
Okay.
it's like 100%.
Okay, you can size me up.
You don't have normal feelings.
You can size me up all you want. I do have normal feelings. I loved my mom. Ask anybody in this county. They can attest to that.
Do you think that people that love one another don't do the most extreme things to them?
Not like that, no.
It happens all the time, every day. That's what I just told you earlier, that it's usually like a loved one.
Okay, I would not do that. You ask anybody in this county. My mom and I were amazing. We would never do such a thing like that to each other at all. My mom would never hurt me like that, and I would never hurt her. You call me a sociopath or whatever you want. And I'm sorry for getting upset. But you please ask around. Ask anybody.
We're going to ask everybody.
Ask everybody. They will attest that I would never do that.
And I don't know what kind of son you were to her.
I loved her very much.
But we're going to peel this orange way back and look in nitty-gritty details.
Please. You can. And you'll find that I would never do this. I don't know who
the
did.
evidence is going to show us something.
Okay. That's fine. But I would not do this to my own mother.
Well, I'm throwing this out there because this is the time. Like, if you did something, this is the time to tell us. Because right now, you're telling us a story that you had nothing to do with it.
Correct.
Okay? And if later on you come back and the evidence shows us something totally different and you say, oh, Mom was a terrible mom and she abused me and we had a fight and I did something stupid, you've already laying out this story right now.
Correct.
Which I can scrap. I can scrap that story if you have another story that's the truth. Okay?
No, this is the truth.
Because now is the time to tell us the truth.
This is the truth.
You remember when I was telling you, especially with the kids, if you don't come forward, you get in trouble, but not as much. But if we find out, remember that? That's the same thing. The same thing here. Same thing
I'm
goes.
telling you, this is my story, and it is the truth.
The detective can clearly foresee that Carlos is soon going to change his statement about his mother, but Carlos continues the argument. But what is utterly shocking to see that even in such an intense situation, he managed to take a nap in the interrogation room. As for the detectives, they now know who the real murderer is. All they need to do is indict him. 9 weeks after the first interrogation, in September 2019, detectives meet Carlos again, and this time they have all the evidence that proves Carlos' involvement in the crime.
Well, first we both get out of our dress suits and all that, get comfortable to our rooms. We let the dogs out to go pee one more time, for the first time. And then we sit down and eat pie, let them in. We keep eating our pie, and then we watched whatever was on TV and had a conversation. And that was pretty much it. And then we went to our rooms.
What was the conversation about?
It was about Kathy in the service.
Okay.
Just our own personal thoughts about it. It wasn't anything serious. I think it was mostly just about her when she was speaking the Bible verse. I don't remember the exact Bible verse, but it was just she was getting some things off her chest.
So everything was okay there. So, and then you said y'all went to go take your naps.
Correct.
From there. Did you eat anything else other than pie?
Nope.
Did she eat anything else other than pie?
Not that I know. I just went to my room.
So you went to your room, and did you see her go to her room?
Yes, I watched her go into hers, and then as I'm in mine, I can hear her either come back out, I think once, and then go back to her room. But then after that, I was out.
Okay. And you said you were on your cell phone? Did you say that as well, or did someone else? When you went to your room, you said you watched TV on On your cell phone, you watch TV on your TV?
I had the TV on because I have sports on my TV, and I'll
Mhm.
watch something else on my phone, so I always got sports in the background, so I can keep updated.
Or back and forth?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you said, about how long you think before you start taking that?
I don't know, it was like maybe 30 minutes and I fell asleep.
30 minutes and fell asleep? And how long were you out for?
Say about an hour and a half, because I found her and reported it around, she was like 4. And then from there I was just kind of like scrambling everywhere and I lost track of time.
What happened around 4?
Is when I called it in, I think. I don't remember specific times of what happened.
That's okay. I understand that. So you think you called 911 around 4?
I think so.
It was a lot later.
It was?
Yeah, it was a lot later. That's okay. I mean, it's not a big deal there. All right, so you said you slept, you think, for about an hour, hour and a half?
Yeah, about.
And then, but you were watching your TV was on the whole time while you were sleeping, or did?
Oh yeah, it stays on. Yeah, that's how I fall asleep. I fall asleep to noise in the background. It's kind of white noise.
So did you wake back up once you fell asleep? When you woke back up?
Could you repeat that?
You said you fell asleep after about 30 minutes of being in there?
Yes.
So you got home around 2:30, 3 o'clock-ish, you think, roughly?
I think so, yeah, around there.
So 2:30 to 3, 8 pie, so figure what, 4, 4:30, you probably went and took a nap?
Yeah.
4, 4:30, took a nap. So you slept for an hour and a half, half an hour to hour and a half?
Right.
So when you woke, did you only wake up once, and that's when you heard the dogs barking?
Yeah, I didn't fall back asleep. It was just once. Woke up, heard it. Was like, okay, one of the dogs are out. Don't know why.
Carlos continues to try outsmarting the detectives by retelling his version of the story. He remains calm and even manages to smile. But this time, he's more playful with his hands, which is a clear sign of anxiety. And he should be, because the detective is soon going to show him a piece of evidence that will change the course of the interrogation.
And then you went and said you got the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Did you, when you were out in the front yard by the gate to get the dog, not by the gate, by your window, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Was she still by your window when you went outside?
Yeah, the dog was just yapping around everywhere.
Over on that side by
Yeah,
where the
'cause-
camper is, stuff like that?
Yeah, because we put our recyclables over there,
Mm-hmm.
so they always immediately go there.
Okay. So you just went straight there and then straight back to the front door? Or did you walk around the house?
No, I went straight there. The barking got one, and then I yelled the other 2 dogs' names. Didn't hear them, so I figured they're already down the road.
Okay, so where'd you go from there?
Went to my mom's room.
So you got the dog in the house, went straight to your mom's room?
Mhm.
Okay, and then that's when you found your mom? You said you called 911 and you walked outside?
Yeah, the operator told me not to be in the room, so she said leave the premises. I was like, out the house, open the gate, signal out down the officers or whatnot. So that's when I stayed out of the house.
Okay. So that's when you called 911. So you didn't go to the backyard at all?
No, no.
Okay. Now what about,
I could see it though. I mean, it was
right, you could see it from the side, but you
Yeah.
never went back there?
No, I could definitely. That's why I didn't go. I was like, oh, no dog.
Okay.
It's all one big, like, very visual land. You can see pretty much
You can
everything.
see it's wide open. I'm seeing, I haven't been inside, but I can see everything up there. All right, so everything, you never went in the backyard at all. You just went inside, seen your mom. Your phone was already on you at that point?
Yeah, like always, it's usually on me.
Okay, and then you walked outside
Mhm.
and called 911.
I called when I was there. I was in the room when I called.
Okay.
Asking him about his 911 call in Denise's phone again and again is just setting a trap for him. When Carlos realizes his mistake, it'll be too late to undo it.
I don't know if they have that in records because I told them.
The
what I
call
saw.
we do, yeah.
Yeah, I told them exactly what I saw and I was in the room. That's when she told me to leave the house.
Now what about her phone?
Hers, usually it's by her nightstand,
Mm-hmm.
which is, like, if you're looking at the bed towards the window,
Right.
it's on the right.
If you're looking at the bed,
So if you walk into the room, here's a door, you walk in, it'll be immediately on your left. But if
Okay.
you're sitting on the bed, it's on your right.
that's generally where she keeps her phone at?
Yeah.
Did you ever see her phone?
No.
Did you see her phone that day?
Yeah, she was on it. When we got home, she usually just turns it to do not disturb. Very private person. Do not disturb, and then goes in her room and just disappears.
So she'll put it on Do Not Disturb, usually? Did you see her do it that day?
She had it on like the buzz, the vibrate,
Mm-hmm.
but I never saw her put it on do not disturb.
Okay. That's common for her?
That's very common. She doesn't like notifications.
Pain in the butt, I imagine.
Mm.
later.
And then you call 911. Did you ever go out towards the front of the property at all?
Lakeside or
Yeah, lakeside or the other front, towards the road, either way.
towards the road, yes. Because she asked me where it's located, and I told her I had to open the gate because it was still closed for them to get back here. And then so I ran all the way up there and all the way back. And of course, I was also looking for the dogs, so I had to go all the way up the road to find them, and then come back.
Did you get the dog? Did you find the dogs up the road?
No, I didn't. Once the officers came, I flagged them down, and they heard all the commotion around the house, and they came back, and I kind of got them from the fence, and then some of them came back through the front gate.
Okay. So they got there when deputies got there, basically. The dogs did.
Yeah, they just ran back because they heard commotion and things going on there.
Dogs returned. That's just the 2 dogs. The other dog was back in the house.
Correct. The other one was on
Back
the
in the
premises.
gate?
Yeah, it was in the.
Okay. What was up with the side door? The side in the garage door.
Yeah, I don't know. I was out there like once earlier that day. I had to go get something out of the garage
When was that?
before we left.
Was it before you left that morning?
Yeah, and I don't remember what it was, so I might have not closed it all the way. And it sticks, which is it's a very annoying door. It always sticks. You have to take it and fully like yank on it. And even when you do, sometimes it's not all the way closed. So I probably just did a left. I was like, screw it.
Did you go to work on the car when you all got home at all?
Which car?
Your car? You told I think Detective Ramos you may have worked on the car when you got home that afternoon. That's why the door may have been open.
Oh yeah, I tinkered on it a little bit because the door's being crunched in. I think I just got some stuff ready and
When
out
you got
there.
home that day?
Yeah, there was just small little things that I didn't really think were important. Like,
Yeah,
I
everything's
just got,
important.
like the vacuum. There's a vacuum we have little, and the
Your
window.
shop vac?
Yeah, and the wind. Well, it's kind of smaller than that. It's kind of like a dust buster or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And the window is cracked in, so there's glass everywhere. So getting ready to clean it, but nap first. Spend time with my mom. So there's just small things like that.
That's what you did after you got home.
Yes, after we got home from the funeral.
Okay. What else do you remember you did? You got home that you don't remember you told us. When you got home from the funeral?
You specifically, I remember I told Ramos that is the stuff in the shed. I was in the shed previously. We had tree work to do. The neighbors, if you ask them, I'm pretty sure they'll remember, they asked us to remove a tree that fell on the fence. So we had to cut it up, move it, and all that stuff. So,
Okay.
I was kind of in there already getting stuff, making sure all my tools were ready to go and nothing was broken.
And you were doing that after you got home from the funeral?
Yeah, I just briefly got out of the car. My mom was taking care of the dogs and such. Letting them out, going in the house, opening things up, and I just went, got stuff done. Okay, this is ready for when we're ready to work, and then marked inside. Just kind of small things that I get done usually around the house when we go home.
Anything else you did?
No, that was pretty much it. Just the car, the shed, and that's it.
As the detective is asking Carlos minute details of the day, he starts rubbing his chin and running his fingers through his hair, once again revealing his nervousness and anxiety. And just when Carlos thinks he has successfully covered all the tracks, the detectives start revealing their cards.
On your phone itself, it also tracks your GPS locations, so I can track your entire track around your yard.
Like movement.
Yes, everything. So, I mean, some of the stuff you told me is true, and some of the stuff not so true.
Like, what's up?
Like where all you went while you were on the phone. Because you were on the phone with 911 for a few minutes, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So it tracks everywhere you went the entire time you're on the phone and the entire time when you weren't on the phone.
Right.
So as you said, you carry the phone with you everywhere, just like typical.
Mhm.
Pretty much all young people these days don't leave without it.
So yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So it tracks everywhere you went. It says you were down by the lake area
For when?
at that time while you were in that whole time frame from when you called 911 on.
I didn't go down by the lake. I could see it, but I didn't go down there.
It tracks you all the way down there. GPS, I mean, it looks like they connect the dots the entire way.
Well, I don't remember being down there at all. I don't, because there's no reason for me to be down there.
Right.
Everything's in the house or has to be up front because the cops were coming that way. Or the dogs were up there.
I mean, it's like when you first called 911, so it's not like it's been a few minutes. You're down there shortly after you called 911.
Right.
I know it's taken apart.
Is that the camera that's hanging up?
That was outside?
Yeah, it's facing towards the...
So does that look familiar to you?
No, sir.
Remember the small cameras you said were in the house? This
Yeah,
camera
just
was
one.
outside of here.
Okay, then yeah, it's one of the ones that are facing towards the window.
Okay, guess how many we found?
Okay.
How many do you think we would have found?
One?
No.
If there's only one in the house.
No, you know there's one in the house.
No, sir, I know of one.
Did your mom show you the videos of the dogs and stuff?
Yeah, from the one that's facing the door. You can see him watching outside when we roll up. You can see him barking at the door.
There's 3 cameras in the house.
Okay.
I found 3 cameras in the house. I actually found one of them.
Okay.
And then guess what else? What else do you think we could have found in the lake that day?
I don't know.
I'm just trying to ask you if you just to help me out here.
Yeah, I understand, and I don't know.
You don't know what else we could have found out there.
No, I'm gonna assume her phone since she's got the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I figured I blacked out, but apparently I was working in the yard. Woke up down by the fire pit is, but I wasn't even near the fire pit when I was working. I was working all the way down by the front gate, getting the fence all ready to go, and before we started clearing it out. So I was working up there, and then all of a sudden I woke up down by the fireplace.
Okay. As you know, we went through the whole house.
Mhm.
No signs of anybody else in the house but you and your mom.
Right.
I mean, completely no other signs.
Mhm.
So the only person who could have done it would have been you.
Right.
And I understand how that makes you feel at the same time.
The thing is, here's the thing. I want to know. I want to know because I want to know if that I blacked out and did this, and then
So I need your help.
I want to know. I don't remember. I don't remember from being in the garage to then. It's nothing. And I don't remember any arguments. Nothing like that. Nothing at all.
Well, you didn't argue. You still mad at her for the whole Bryson thing?
No, I accepted that because that was my fault. Since I've come back from living with the Irvings, our goal was to take responsibility for our problems. Like, no matter who. Either my mom messed up and she never wanted to admit it and I was mad, and then we were both mad, or I messed up and I never admitted it and we were both mad.
Because we're both very strong opinionated and
Yeah.
strong-willed.
So now it was like we were trying to like back off that because I'm turning 18, I've graduated high school,
But you
life started, so we were like, okay, we just need to settle. Because my mom wanted to put me through school, I wanted to go through school, and I just wanted us to work out. That was it.
Nobody else there could have done it. It's just you. Like we said, we've been working day and night, weekends,
I understand.
waiting on evidence to come back. It took a lot of evidence to come back because we have to be thorough.
Mhm.
I don't want to accuse you of anything and then
Right.
it be somebody else. There's no evidence for anybody else.
Right.
And I'm very thorough on that because I don't like ever being wrong.
Right. And I appreciate the way Ramos came at it. I didn't like the other detective, to be honest with you, the one that was with you the first day. He was calling me a psychopath and a sociopath that I don't feel anything. I didn't appreciate that at all, with him making those assumptions before anything was even done. I appreciate the way you guys went through everything.
I'm just telling you, there's nobody else that we could
Right,
show.
I understand, but I still don't remember from the day. If you guys have that concrete evidence, then okay, but I don't physically remember anything.
Anything at all.
No.
Do you remember, like, even a glimpse during your dreams or anything?
No, because the dreams start from when I wake up and see her, and then they just continue all the way through to, like, spurts of the group home or stuff like that.
Because, I mean, all the evidence points to you. There's nothing else.
Mhm.
And that's why I'm trying to get you to help me out because
Because I don't remember anything. We didn't have any fights, and that's the thing. That's why I panicked the most. Because I specifically remember being in the garage with the sharpening iron,
Right.
sharpening the axe, like getting it ready to go. I even went out to go look at the fence line, hopped the fence, looked at the tree, blah blah blah. Did all that normal routine. Kind of figure out, okay, where am I cutting? What am I cutting? And then what part of the fence do I have to fix? Because that's what they asked. Getting all that stuff ready, and then from then to there, I remember nothing.
yeah, because I mean, I want to help you try to remember because it helps me for case-wise for you.
Right, and
I don't, I'm not out against you whatsoever. I
Right.
like all the evidence. That's all.
From the case, I understand, but I don't remember anything from there to there. No arguments or nothing.
If you had an argument, were you just mad at her about the situation?
No, there's nothing I remember anything about.
Somebody set you off, you're the only one there.
On that.
There's nobody else at all could have done this.
Does that mean I'm going to jail straight after this?
Well, we should try to figure all this stuff out, dude.
Oh, well, I mean, I just want to understand because you guys saying there's no one else that could have done it. I mean,
There's
so,
no one else that could have done it but you.
right, so, what do you guys
And that's what I'm trying to figure out what happened that day. It depends on, I mean, did you have a good reason for what happened?
I don't remember. That's the thing is I don't remember. I just remember that a couple days before my mom was being very physically, verbally attacking, and of course she definitely let me have it when she caught me sneaking Bryson in. That was, I mean, I think she yelled at me worse than I thought I deserved.
Was it that Friday or was that Saturday? It was probably Friday, the day before.
Probably Friday. Yeah, I don't remember exactly the day, but it was worse than I thought was like really deserved.
Right.
Because I thought it was just gonna be like maybe a whole hour's worth of her telling me she's disappointed, she's pissed off, blah blah blah. But I remember it being a whole like half a day spiel. Like just like I left my room, she's like, "What the f you doing now?" And I tried to do my room
So you're
again.
pretty much grounded.
Yeah, for that day apparently. For the half the day I couldn't do anything, and then I think at night I went out and snuck out and hung out with some friends.
So, like you said, that's all I'm trying to figure out.
I don't understand.
Somebody can help you on this. Something that
Like
set
we
you
spoke,
off.
like we spoke, man. Just honesty is gonna go and set you free, bro. It's gonna just lighten up all this. Like I said, we all do shit. Pressure goes by. We do accidents we don't mean to happen. You know what I mean?
Okay, I think it was about 30 minutes before we got home. Because I remember we resolved it when we got home. Because if you look at the tapes, we were fine. I think it was like 30 minutes before we got home. But my mom was starting to get really, really verbally abusive towards me about WTC. Because I was telling her maybe I didn't want to do it in August. Maybe I wanted to do it in January.
Take some time.
Yeah. And she let me have it, big time. She was calling me a disappointment again, and then was threatening to like no longer pay for any of my college and just kick me out immediately as soon as I turned 18. Which that's like normal things happen. Like you turn 18, time to go.
Parents do it.
Yeah, so that I wasn't really too worried about that, and then she was like saying stuff like, I hope that it's like I hope you do bad, stuff like that. But it didn't escalate until I just was like, geez, calm down. Because whenever I tell her to calm down,
Dude,
That pushes
you
your buttons.
don't tell no woman to come
I
down.
know, so
Come
I'm
on,
like,
man.
so it was getting pretty bad, and I was like, geez, well, all right, calm down, I get the point, I understand, but I just think I need time. Because I remember specifically, I told her I just needed time. I'll work, I would work and save up to pay half the schooling. Fine, I don't care. I just
Yeah.
need that time between now to August, to January, because I'm not even 18 yet. I'd prefer to be 18 and then start and then go.
Yeah.
Be good to go. So she wasn't having it at all. And she never laid a hand on me, but she was very verbally abusive. And I remember, I do remember being in tears by the time that conversation ended. And by the time I was crying pretty heavy, she stopped. No, I don't remember anything from that day. Anything bad happening from that day.
And that was before y'all got home.
And that was about 30 minutes before we
to jail.
I don't have an exact memory of it, so I don't want to say.
Okay, the best your memory.
Best of my memory, walked in the house with the axe, with not the intent of doing
Right.
that, but I think my intent was kind of like, okay, Mom, I think we need to get to work, because it was getting kind of late. I do know that it was getting late, and my mom doesn't like to work past a certain time. She wants to be out in her bed. And then I guess it just kind of boiled over. I don't know if something was said. Because usually I try to talk to her. I'll say, hey Mom, get up. We gotta go to work. Or hey Mom, we gotta do some stuff. So I don't know if I did that and she made a remark that kind of pushed me over the edge, or if it just all played through.
So after you hit her with the axe, is that when you called 911 right after?
Immediately.
Right after you hit her?
Right after I went, bam, it was like phone, 911, checked her breathing, pulse. But As soon as I saw blood running through her nose, I knew there was nothing I could do. So then I was just.
You feel bad if you did it?
Excuse me?
You feel bad that it happened?
Yeah, big time. And it's been killing me, eating me inside really
I can
bad.
imagine. You want to tell somebody, you can't.
Well, the thing is, I didn't want to tell at the beginning because I didn't know exactly for a fact. And then after a while, it was just replaying in my head. I'm like,
But you did call 911, try to get her help right away.
immediately.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure. Damn, I took the cameras down. No, they were still up when I called.
Mhm.
Immediately, as soon as it happened, I called 911.
The secrets are out, and there's no going back now. He admits arguing with his mother on the day of the murder, but arguing with Denise was not new. Perhaps it was that particular day when his bottled up emotions took over, pushing him to such an extreme. Being a sociopath, Carlos is incapable of acknowledging his own faults. Although Carlos confessed his crimes, it appears that he's still hiding the complete truth. He claimed that he called 911 immediately, but the evidence tells a different story. Detectives retrieved his digital footprint using his mobile's GPS tracker, and an unbelievable discovery. Carlos was by the lake destroying evidence while making the 911 call. With all the evidence in hand, along with Carlos's confession, officers presented him in the court. On September 14, 2021, Carlos was charged with first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Because he was a minor at the time of the crime, he was ineligible for the death penalty. However, the cruelty of the crime, particularly the size of the axe Carlos used, made the presiding judge call Carlos an incorrigible offender and described him as unlikely to benefit from rehabilitation due to his psychopathic tendencies. The judge further stated that Carlos's behavior was a culmination of his desire for control over his mother's assets and highlighted his dangerous nature as cited by mental health experts. His actions were clearly premeditated and not driven by any sudden emotional outburst. In a jail interview, when asked why he committed the murder, he failed to provide a proper explanation, making it more likely that this brutal murder stemmed from his sociopathic nature. It could also have been considered a manifestation of schizoid personality disorder, where one fails to form attachments and feels no guilt whatsoever. It can also be assumed that the reason was Carlos's fear that if Denise was not pleased with him, she may abandon him too, like she did to Angel. So, was it the fear of losing his home, or was it his sociopathic nature that pushed Carlos to kill his mother? Feel free to share your opinions. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any cases you'd like us to cover, please share your suggestions in the comments section. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to uncover more cases like this from around the world. Until then, stay safe.